Hi there, Frank here. Just doing a catch-up and saying hi. Everything's going along pretty well in life. We actually got a new business venture going on, a lot of expansion, so that's cool. But I wanted to give you a report. Those of you I know that watch the financial marketplace, that's what I do for a living every day. I had an interesting experience the other day. A business partner of mine and I had a deposit that we needed to make from transference of funds from one account to our business account. So my partner who's in Arizona and I'm in Texas, he said, hey, I'll just go in and do a deposit. Let's see what happens and see how long it takes him to do this. In other words, normally we would wire the money, but he thought, I'll just go in and write a check off the other account. We'll deposit it into this account. Let's see how long it takes to clear. We were just kind of having fun, curious to see how the market was going to respond. So he deposited the check Thursday afternoon, Phoenix time, and they said, it was after business hours, but they told him, hey, 2 business days, by Monday evening you should be fine. We said, okay, cool, great. So we put it in. So Monday afternoon we got on the internet and we checked the account. It wasn't available, so we were like, well, let's go ask and see what they tell us. So I walked into the bank locally and I talked to the gentleman there who I normally deal with, and he said, well, I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you about this because that was deposited over in Arizona. You'll have to get your partner over there to ask them. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's Bank of America, right? He said, well, yeah. I said, well, that's Bank of America over there. He said, well, yeah. I said, so why can't you do anything? Why can't you find out anything? He said, because they're a separate portion of Bank of America. I said, well, okay, but if I bank with Bank of America, I do it so I can get serviced anywhere I go in the world, in England or the United States, anywhere. He said, well, yeah, I mean, that's true, but I said, okay, so explain to me the deal. So he eventually said that each Bank of America branch is in its own region and its own entity, which makes sense. It's a business thing. If one goes bad, the rest of them don't get pulled down by it. But there's no internetwork communication that really says, hey, one thing can do another. So it's kind of like one org is servicing you someplace, but the other one, if they're doing a bad job, they can't do anything about that org over there. It's like, okay, that's their problem, not ours. Not a real responsible way to do business, in my opinion. So he said, well, listen, I'll do what I can. Let me get on the phone. So he got on the phone. He called the branch. He talked to the person that actually had seen the check with their own eyes and deposited the check and said that, no, they had never said it was a 2-day hold. They said there would be a hold. So we were like, okay. So long story short, we said, well, how long is the hold going to be? They said, well, it'll be cleared on Friday. Matter of fact, they said, no, you'll have part of the money, about 10% of the money available on Tuesday, today. And then the rest of it will clear on Friday. We're like, okay, 5 business days for a check that's drawn from Charles Schwab account, which is one of the larger financial institutions in the country? They're like, well, it's because it's a personal check. We're like, okay. It's a stock account, but okay. And what's the other reason? And they said, well, 2 days because it was drawn on a Nevada bank. Nevada's right next to Phoenix. You can drive there in 2 hours. We're like, okay. And so long story short, I kept asking questions and different questions, and the gentleman that I was talking to started to spit out information. Here's what I got. Basically, the check had cleared and was cashed in their account on Saturday evening, this past Saturday. So in other words, they could have credited to our account on Monday morning. But they didn't. Why? Well, for those of you that don't know how the banking institution works, because they're loaning against that cash right now. They're in a cash flow crunch and they're in a credit crunch and they're loaning that money. The Fed gives them the ability to loan $1 9 different times. So right now they're out loaning our money to people on the street or loaning against our money, and they're holding ours saying, well, we have to hold it because of, and they're sitting there having their fun game. So it was a really interesting kind of experience. They said normally we do direct wires they have to credit, pretty much immediately. So they don't get the ability to hold that money like this, but they're holding the money. And we caught them in it. We said okay, so our money's available, but you're holding on to it for another 5 business days. And they were like, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Anyways, like I've told you guys before, get your money out of the U.S. banks. We're not leaving ours in there for long. We told them as soon as the check clears, we'll be in to close out our account with them. They weren't happy to hear that because we run a good volume through their bank and have for several years, and we just said, hey, if you're going to treat us that way, we don't want to do business with you. And I told him, I said, I feel like I'm at IndyMac Bank right now, and the guy was like, you're telling me I can't get my money. And it was really interesting. We went up to actually do a cash advance off the business credit line just to get some cash flow to see what would happen with that. And sure enough, their machine wasn't working. And they're like, we're so sorry. I'm like, oh, man, I really feel like IndyMac. So it was kind of an interesting experience. There's some other stuff going on in England right now. The FSA, which is kind of like the Fed over here, they're doing quiet backdoor secret financings for banks and cash flows. They've agreed to loan money from the Bank of England to help other small banks not fold, but they're doing it quietly and discreetly. Of course, the public knows this could be going on, but they don't know which bank it is. I suspect we have similar things taking place in the United States right now. So like I've told all you guys, get your money. Get it out of the bank, put it in cash, put it under your mattress. Don't wind up with whatever money you might have not being available to you. That would suck. So that's my advice to you guys, and I hope it finds you doing well. Good luck.